please call the roll.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Here.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz.
Here.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Here.
Freeholder Tonelli.
Here.
Freeholder Voss.
Here.
Chairwoman Zur.
Here. Evidence of a quorum is present. Can everyone please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please read the minutes to be accepted?
October 25th, work session, all present. November 1st, work session, Freeholder Gans absent. November 1st, public session, all present. November 8th, work session, Freeholder Tonelli absent. November 8th, public session, Freeholder Tonelli absent.
May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are unanimously passed. May I have, yes,
Point of order, I have an abstention on the two that I was not present, standing order, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
thank you. May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? It is unanimously approved that the meeting is now open to the public. We're going to have a hearing in the general public with a 3-minute time limit in effect in accordance with the Bergen County Freeholder bylaws. The board attorney is going to keep the time, and when the time of the speaker expires, the timekeeper is going to announce that the time has expired. Please fill out the slip with your name and the general topic on which you wish to speak. Joseph Dunsey.
Good evening. I'd like to talk about the need to build more homeless shelters in Bergen County. I know a lot of people in Bergen County who have homes, sometimes they get relationship problems or problems with the neighbors, and sometimes a restraining order is issued. And that's not the biggest problem in the world because they have places to stay. But when two homeless people aren't getting along and a restraining order gets issued, then someone doesn't have shelter in Bergen County because there's only one homeless shelter in the entire county. We have a population about the same size as the population in San Francisco. I think it's time to build at least one more building, preferably more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunsey. Just for you to know, in situations such as that, though, they do get referrals to shelters in other counties, and that's taken care of. Thank you. Jerry Drummond?
Bless you.
God bless.
Excuse me.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving,
Good evening.
happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. In case I forget, that doesn't count for my time.
Yes, it does.
It does?
And did you
Florida.
run the marathon, or did
Did I?
somebody give you that sweatshirt?
Somebody gave me the shirt. My son.
I'll give you the time back then.
Great, thank you. I actually ran the marathon in '99, but I ran it with a Russian retired intelligence officer, so I have to reveal that. I'm a real.
Time's
I'm
up.
not hiding that. Okay. I think, as you people know, Jerry Drummond, my hometown is Stillmont. I wear many hats. I'm here tonight as president of PERA, Public Employees Retirement Association of Bergen County. We're retired public employees, mostly from Bergen County, well, but one from Bergen County, white collar, blue collar, FA, and we're trying to build up. And I passed out our Declaration of Principles petition before. I'll just read the last two paragraphs and just quickly get into what I want to say. We feel that it's our right to be informed beforehand by management and labor of any meetings and or communications that may impact those benefits which we have earned and have been given assurances about. So we respectfully ask to be invited, as is our democratic right, to sit at the bargaining table as equals with our own vote when our retirement benefits are to be discussed, not about other things, but just if you're going to discuss us, we want to be there and have an input. We can argue about whether we have a vote or not. Now, basically, it's on a principle of informed consent as operative within a democracy. Informed consent is not you're informed and I give consent. It's that if you want my consent, I have to be informed. I think we all understand our principle. That didn't happen with the negotiation process with the county, and then I found out maybe it did happen, but unintentionally. White-collar contract, we were concerned, okay, members, people of my group are calling me up, what about the rise in price for prescription drugs? What did you do about that? So we have the contract, I see this thing here, and so whether I had a problem or not, if somebody did, I have to represent people. Now, I called the county executive yesterday, as I mentioned to you people, I approached Joan Voss, and they got me to call Doyle. Well, I didn't call Doyle Alliance. Doyle Alliance called me because Mike Bellucci apparently called them, and they said retirees are exempt from those increases. So I said, if they're exempt from those increases, then I can't object because then I had no business being involved if they were exempt from those discussions about increases for benefits. So I'm just putting that on record. So I'm not objecting because they're exempt, and I can't even give an argument. So that's good news. The other thing is Medicare B. That ended up in the blue-collar contract, and I say my group is for everybody. We're very concerned about that we were not brought in. And in fact, the process that seemed to take within the union negotiation process wasn't very inclusive. Like, they never discussed it, okay? And it ended up with some vote to accept this or not. The general concern with this process was it came on, and maybe this could have been the way the union presented it and not the administration, but
3 minutes, Mr. Drummond.
they took the letter from the administration, which was began threatening, we'll reduce this and do this if you don't accept this, and they gave that to the members, and people objected to that, and they told me. So, but I'm here, I'm in support, obviously, of the contracting process and of unions, having been union president for 12 years, okay? And I just want the principle of informed consent honored, you know, in that if something is coming up and it affects retirees from public sector, especially Bergen County public sector, my members want me to be notified and them to be notified, okay? And I appreciate that, like the county executive had Ken Russell and I spent some time with Mike Bellucci right after when we went to the work session. So we had there's a lot of stuff that we worked out there. I have my time limit, but I'm very pleased with that, okay? And we'll be working something
you,
out.
Mr. Drummond.
But praise to the negotiation process and the county contracts.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Nobody wants to ask me any questions?
You were thorough.
Okay.
Joe Gautier. Thanks, Jerry.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi. I saw most of you this afternoon. The one change in our contract that I was very proud of was the minimum wage for our members going up to $15 for a 40-hour starting individual. It's huge that someone at least starts at that point. And $15 isn't going to keep people in diamonds and furs, but there's no reason for anyone who works a full-time job to be living and working and living under the poverty line. So that's a huge step forward, and I commend all of you for taking that step for all of Bergen County. And I do support at least a $15 minimum wage for all municipalities and counties. As for our contract that you're voting on, obviously, you know, did we get everything we want? No. Did the county get everything they want? No. And are we 100%? Is one side 100% happy? Well, probably not. But you know, that's probably the mark of a pretty good compromise, right? With that being said, one of the things that did change in our contract is that the prescription costs were raised. However, just to address Mr. Drummond's, my predecessor's concerns, you know, it was discussed, and those prescription costs for our retirees who are not getting a raise, who, you know, are not getting a COLA increase, will not go up, which is huge because for retirees, they don't get raises. And when they got their cost of living adjustments taken away, you have to realize cost of living adjustments aren't so people start making more money and getting ahead. they're just to keep up with inflation. They're just to basically, keep the status quo. And I know you have no power over that at the county level. That's a state decision. And we will be talking to our state representatives about such issues. But I do commend you for raising the minimum wage in Bergen County to $15. And thank you all, and have a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Joe. Is there anyone else from the general public that wishes to speak? Seeing none, can I take a motion to close the meeting to the general public? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The meeting is closed to the general public. Can the clerk please read the resolutions on the consent agenda?
Resolutions of consent, 1054-17 through 1079-17, and 1081-17 through 1093-17.
Can I have a motion to accept the resolutions on the consent agenda as read by the clerk?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz. Yes. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Chairwoman Zer.
Yes.
7 ayes.
Are there resolutions of non-consent pulled, postponed, or tabled? And if so, can the clerk please read?
There is one resolution of non-consent, 1094-17. The purpose is a resolution to concur with Executive Order 2017-01 to establish a minimum wage of $15 per hour for all full-time 40-hour county employees. It's offered by the County Executive and Administration and Finance. And then there's one resolution that has been pulled, and that is 1080-17.
All right, we have board discussion regarding 1094-17. Is there any member of the board that wishes to discuss 1094-17? Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes, thank you, Chairwoman. I just want to once again commend our county executive, who continues to amaze me with his forward thinking, and the fact that this was done not in a bubble, but this was done. He did studies, and it's going to enhance our economy. It's going to bring more qualified people to our county to work. As a labor guy, I commend him for this. We're going to be taking care of not only people up here, but security guards, people in the parks, people that do the hard work that don't get enough recognition. And I think it's a wonderful thing. I stand behind the county executive. Another monumental thing that we have done here in Bergen County in the past 2.5 years. And I'm proud to be a part of the board. I'm proud to stand with Jim Tedesco on what he says and what he believes. He's a man who just doesn't who doesn't just say things, he does things. And we haven't had somebody around here like that in a long time, as well as my colleagues here on the Freeholder Board who also share our same vision, and that is to pay people a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment from the board? Freeholder Voss.
Yeah, I want to commend our county executive because we are the first county, I believe, to put into effect a $15 minimum wage, which I think is wonderful, and hopefully all of the other counties will follow suit. I know some of them are at the present time considering it, and hopefully the state will as well. I know that several people were concerned, and I think that the county executive addressed all of the concerns of the people who are affected by this $15 and the people who are above the $15. And so this was something that I think was well thought out. And Bergen County is a very, very expensive place in which to reside. And so I think this is a step in the right direction, and I want to commend everybody who is associated with making this come to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Tinelli.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I don't want to rehash what everyone else says. I'd just like to, I agree with what Freeholder Sullivan says with commending the administration. This is just another milestone that this county has set forth again. There's been a lot of decisions that have been made in the last 2 years since the county executive took over. And I can't tell you how proud I am of not only the county executive and the administrator, but working collectively. I was going to say this in the work session while the county executive was addressing us, but the cooperation and the work that goes on before we get out here, and the cooperation and the work that goes on the week leading up to our meeting, and the months that go on to make decisions like this. You know, these things aren't done in 10 minutes and we just come out here and rubber stamp what's going on. These are decisions that are communicated. We have meetings, we have discussions. whether it's individuals or in pairs or in committees, to make the decisions that we get, and for them to present things to us that are leading the forefront, being the first county to actually pull the trigger on this, just goes to show you the work and commitment that this administration and this Freeholder Board has for the residents of Bergen County. I would just like to again commend the administration and the county executive for a job well done. Thank you, Chairwoman.
Thank you. Freeholder Gans?
Thank you, Chairwoman. Thank you. The minimum wage that we have established with this ordinance is something that was first suggested by the freeholders. Working in tandem with the county executive, we were able to forge an alliance to make this work. There are 5,500 counties in the United States. We are the first one to put forth the $15 minimum wage. We're not going to be the last. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Amoroso?
Yes, well, you have policy analysts and leaders across the country talking about $15 an hour like some sort of pie in the sky. How could you achieve that? $15 an hour works out to about $31,200 a year. Bergen County was able to achieve it because we are fiscally responsible and we worked out a good budget. And on top of that, we really do care about our employees. So, thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Ortiz?
I would also like to commend the county executive and my colleagues. And to be my first year on the Freeholder Board, I couldn't be more proud and thankful to work with my colleagues and with the administration and everything that we have done just in this year. It's very exciting, and I really applaud also that he's leading the way, the county executive, with the minimum wage and the standard of living of New Jersey. I mean, minimum wage is not a cookie cutter. It just isn't. We live in different parts of the country, especially in the Northeast, where it is. It's a costly living, and living in Bergen County is not easy, and we don't want to have our families to move out of the state. So this is definitely the right step. We're going in the right direction, and I thank everyone else. So thank all the union leaders all coming together and making this work. So thank you.
Gentlemen, I apologize for not mentioning this, but the numbers here do not include the cost of living and the benefits that are associated with this. And that amounts to an additional 58%, more or less.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Gans. I would just want to reiterate what my colleagues have basically said. I'm really proud of this historic moment, not just because we're the first, but because we're blazing the way and setting forth a message about not only what it means to value our employees, not only what it means to increase productivity, increase morale, but also increase our employees' ability to spur our own local economies and spending the money that they're earning here in stimulating our economic development. And we're doing this, you know, as was touched upon, because we've been able to fiscally steward this administration in a very responsible way. We're doing this with zero burden on taxpayers. We're able to do this because of the efforts we've all employed to think outside the box, to work collaboratively, to do more with less, to increase efficiencies. And this actually is a salvo that's going to increase efficiencies. This is going to encourage our employees to work harder because they know that they're valued. And so I just want to applaud both of our Union 655 and 755, and thank you for what you do and for working together with us so that we can all meet the needs of Bergen County residents to the utmost. And so I think today is certainly a great mark in good governance, and I know that it's something that we're all very proud of. That being said, can I take a motion to move 1094?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Definitely yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss. Chairwoman Zur.
Yes.
7 ayes.
Congratulations, everyone. We're now going to go on to our ordinances for first reading introduction. Ordinance 1731. Will the clerk please read by title only?
1731 is a refunding bond ordinance providing for refunding of outstanding general obligation bonds of 2010, Series A, by the County of Bergen, appropriating $33 million therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $33 million refunding bonds of the county finance the cost thereof.
Can I have a motion to introduce ordinance 1731 as read by the clerk?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed, say nay. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Chairwoman Zur.
Yes.
With 7 ayes, 1731 passes first reading.
We're now going to go on to our ordinance for second reading and adoption, ordinance 17-30. Can the clerk please read by title only?
1730 is a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $2,100,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2 million bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof. The proof of publication of the ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 1730 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Thursday, November 9th, 2017.
May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public for public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The meeting is now open for public hearing. Public hearing has a 5-minute time limit in effect. The board attorney will keep the time. Is there anyone from the general public who wishes to be heard regarding ordinance 17-30? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the meeting to the general public?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The meeting is now closed to the general public. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1730 as was read by the clerk?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Chairwoman Zur.
Yes.
With 7 ayes, 1730 is adopted and passes second reading.
We will now have freeholder committee reports briefly. Brief freeholder committee reports regarding our freeholder committee work. Why don't we begin with Freeholder Tinelli?
Thank you, Chairwoman. So, I don't know if everyone understands now we're live streaming our meetings. So it's a little bit different when we can make an announcement because people could be watching this. So that I just want to let everyone know that this weekend, Winter Wonderland opens in the parks up in Van Saun. Based on turnout last year, it was very, very successful. We're looking for even more successful Christmas or holiday season this year. So please don't forget to get out there and enjoy the festivities. And then 2 quick things. I don't know if, I'm sure my colleagues have seen the Channel 4 report about opioid addiction. This board has been very passionate with their commitment, not only financially, but with their letter writing campaigns to try and help people with addiction. Channel 4 News did a tremendous story on what's been going on in Bergen County with the support of the prosecutor, somebody who from day one picked the ball up and ran with it. In my opinion, the numbers prove out that his beliefs and his programs has been very successful, showing that locking people up isn't the solution to this problem. And he should be commended, as I'm sure all my colleagues are unbelievably supportive. Everyone out there should know just what Bergen County and the prosecutor's office is actually doing. It's working. So we need to continue to support programs like that. And then one other thing is just, I know my colleagues will probably touch on the shared services, but the tally's now, I think, 53 shared service agreements with, whether it's emergency equipment or other agreements with communities. That's what our commitment is, to make sure that we're working with everyone to help Bergen County save money. So thank you very much, Chairwoman.
Thank you. Freeholder Ortiz.
I wanted to discuss resolution number 1065-17, and this is New Jersey Department of Children and Families that awarded over $507,000 to the County of Bergen, and it's for alternative to domestic violence. It's a serious problem, I mean nationwide, but I commend David Cohen and his department and how they overlook this department, especially with such limited funds, that they're able to do so much at the county level, and it's a big concern. I mean, not only do they offer community education, counseling, court appearances, and they also go to the schools, and they also, they educate the students from middle school to high school to college, because it's becoming a serious problem nationwide. Or it's just, I guess, maybe people are just, or women are actually stepping up and seeking counseling. And there's a lot of interesting statistics. Every 9 seconds in the U.S., a woman is assaulted or beaten. Studies suggest that up to 10 million children witness some form of domestic violence in their homes. And there's more women murdered by their husbands and boyfriends than any other form of death among women. And it's just, it can go on with the statistics. So I really do commend, Mr. Cohen and the department and how they help the residents of Bergen County that are in these situations and that they're able to help. So, thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Ross.
Thank you. November is very much about our veterans and our history. And just this past week at Fort Lee High School, there were thousands of flags on the lawn of the high school to honor our veterans. We do this every year, and we have a ceremony where we pay a homage to all of the, especially our World War II vets. We had a ceremony on November 11th at the Vietnam War Monument in Fort Lee, because it's like the 50th anniversary. When I first started teaching, many of my students went into the military to fight in the Vietnam War, and I always remember this one young man, Reggie Flack, who was in my class and then joined the military and died a few months later. So we remember him to keep his memory always alive. Fort Lee has a very long history, and every November we observe the Retreat to Victory. This year it was the 241st year of Washington's retreat. He went down from Fort Lee into Leonia, into Hackensack, Newbridge, which is now becoming very much a part of our vocabulary. And we want to have a lot of children realize the sacrifices. We do a reenactment up at the Fort Lee Historical Park, and people from all over the East Coast come with their uniforms, and they live for a weekend as the colonial soldiers. And as I said, it's wonderful for kids to see this and to really understand, not only from the Revolutionary War, but through all the wars we have participated, the sacrifices that have been made to let them have the wonderful freedoms that we have. One more thing, yesterday, we observed Polish Independence Day. And here is a country that really appreciates their freedom. It was the 99th anniversary of Poland becoming free in 1918. They had lived 123 years under the tyranny of many other countries. And so if you want to see people really appreciate what freedom is all about, ask a Pole how much Independence Day means to that country. And thank you very much. And happy Thanksgiving before I forget.
Thank you. Freeholder Gantz.
Thank you, Chairwoman, and a happy Thanksgiving Day to all. I'm not going to talk about Bergen wellness today. I am going to talk about the problem that we have among veterans, and the problem is one of suicide. There are 22 veterans who commit suicide each day. This is not members of the armed services. These are veterans. These are not necessarily homeless individuals, but they're veterans, and they're not being serviced properly by the United States Army and by the other corps. This is something that needs to be changed. It needs to be changed now. Our county executive has guided us to end homelessness among veterans, but it's not being followed in other counties. We heard tonight that there is the possibility of a problem that may require an additional homeless homeless shelter or an additional facility to accommodate. Never forget our veterans, because, ladies and gentlemen, the price of liberty is never free. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Amoroso.
Thank you. Some of us freeholders toured the waterworks in Oradell on the 9th of November. It is a remarkable space of red brick, still full of antique water filtration equipment and some standing water. The county owns the property, and it is on the historic register, so it will not be demolished. So along with the county parks work in progress parks master plan, the county will be considering plans to repurpose this really awe-inspiring space and grounds. I wanted to touch on two other galas. The 60th anniversary of Vantage Health Systems. Vantage is located in Dumont and Englewood. Vantage specializes in mental and behavioral health and was among the many groups hit by the fee-for-service funding model, which started July 1st. Vantage's funding was cut $2.5 million that day. They tell me they are especially grateful for our Bergen County support. Also, Chairwoman Zur and I attended a gala for the Volunteer Center of Bergen County. The Volunteer Center does everything from running a chore service to benefit senior citizens, to offering tax assistance for lower-income families, to providing leadership training each year to up-and-coming young professionals from our community. Finally, the Children's Health Insurance Program ended on September 30th because of congressional inaction. The Children's Health Insurance Program, called for short CHIP, is a partnership between the federal and state governments that provides health coverage to uninsured children whose families earn too much to qualify for Medicaid, but too little to afford private health coverage. Bergen County has enough money left in the program to last until April. CHIP must be reauthorized by Congress by April of 2018, or our children will be left unprotected because of federal cuts. Thank you.
Vice Chairman Sullivan.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I'm going to touch on a few issues. Transportation. The county received and implemented a $200,000 grant in order to enhance transportation mobility of our seniors and our disabled individuals. Under shared services, like Freeholder Tonelli brought up earlier, the county entered into an agreement for the sharing of emergency and non-emergency equipment as needed for the following municipalities: Moonachie, Cresskill, Paramus, Wycliffe Lake, Bergenfield, Maywood, East Rutherford, and Rutherford. The county is also continuing to work with other municipalities on similar agreements that will lead to added savings. This is something that has been mentioned before. Under my reelection, it was something I made a priority, and the Freeholder Board has also made a priority, and we continue to do it. And the more municipalities want to come to us and share services, the more we all save. So I think we need to continue to do that. We also extended our shared service agreement with Rockland County, New York, for use of the Stag Hill telecommunication tower. And we also entered into a shared service agreement with the Borough of River Edge for hosting of a law enforcement record management system, which I believe Freeholders touched on last month. And under Public Works, funding was approved and renovation has begun on the basement of the Spring House for Women in Paramus. It's a wonderful facility. It's got a great track record for helping women with addiction, and we continue to support that. As we spoke about opioids, I have a meeting on Monday with Ellen Elias to see if there's any more creative ways we can come and help combat that opioid epidemic. We also attended, on behalf of the county executive, a ceremony in Bergenfield honoring all the veterans who live in the town, and I was being that was my hometown. I was very happy to be there and honor all those that attended. And the last thing, of course, is the $15 minimum wage, which we all talked about. And I know everyone thanked you, Joe Gaudier, the president. I don't know if I did thank you. I'm going to thank you again if I didn't. It was a great thing. It just goes to show that when you're doing collectively bargaining things, you think about everyone, not just yourselves. As a president, the president, I understand the burden that you have. Not the burden, the responsibility is a better word. The responsibility you have to think for others. And between you and the county executive, you know, this really resonates with me. I appreciate all the work. I appreciate all the members of both of the unions, our retirees, and again, I can't say it enough of our county executive, who continues to amaze me with his forward thinking and the fact that he gets things done. And it's really an honor to sit up here, as I'm sure we all feel, to serve with this individual. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank Carolina Gonzalez, who is manning our cameras tonight. She's a student at Applied Tech High. She's what's making all of us look good, or trying to. So thank you, Carolina, and thank you, all of you, to Fred and to the program that we have that really engages the kids in learning and getting firsthand experience. So keep up the good work, Carolina. Tonight, during our work session, we had a presentation from the Executive Director of the Workforce Development Board, Tammy Malinelli, regarding resolutions 1054 through 1058. And really, I just wanted to take a moment to highlight that because as the liaison to that board, I get to see firsthand the work that they're doing to make sure that the sectors of our county that have challenges getting employment, whether it's at-risk youth or individuals with disabilities or senior citizens or displaced workers, that they're getting extra support so that we can make sure that they are ready to get back into the workforce and so that they can continue to have the opportunities, and more importantly also so that the business communities can know and have a liaison and get trained employees as well. One of the things is that Bergen County is a place to work. It is a place for businesses to be able to grow and thrive, and it is because of our talented workforce and a lot of the effort that goes on at the Workforce Development Board. I also, like many of my colleagues, spent Veterans Day going to veterans events, was one here in Hackensack. But one that was especially touching to me was in Dumont, where they unveiled a park for Cadet Corporal Matthew Laporte. Matthew was killed on April 16th, 2017 at Virginia Tech during the massacre. And this was a project that was done by Eagle Scouts to commemorate his life and really to honor his legacy. You know, his motto was to choose the harder right over the easier wrong. And as he lunged towards the assailant and saved the lives of many that day, it was certainly as one who has a son in college, who I begged to go to class, it's certainly the last thing you want to think about is needing to have a memorial for your son who just decided to go to French class that day. But the legacy that he leaves, not only for the Boy Scouts who worked on that project, but for the entire community, was indeed really, really touching. Also touching today for me, I got to go to one of my favorite events of the year, the Springboard Thanksgiving Luncheon. This is a program done by our young adults 18 to 21 with disabilities, and they prepare from soup to nuts every aspect of a Thanksgiving feast, going from budgeting to decorating, and they really learn what it means to be independent so that they can have the life skills to live independently. And this is one of the things that we in Bergen County do so well, supporting those and giving those the training and the support and the services so that they can go on to thrive. And finally, I want to touch base on what Freeholder Tonelli mentioned and give you the website as well. Go on to BergenCountyWinterWonderland.com. The ice skating rink is double the size. It's going to be double the fun as well. And we look forward to having a wonderful, wonderful year at Winter Wonderland. And I want to thank all of the administration and our Parks Department for really getting it together. We look forward to the grand opening on Friday night. Thank you. And with that being said, can I take a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Meeting stands adjourned.